Welcome into Better and Green, and today we're hopping into a fantasy time machine to go into the future to see how the 2023 season unfolded.
You probably think that you are better now. You only say that 'cause I'm not.
We made a couple stops on the way, but we're back. Ethan, what was your favorite part of time traveling?
Those groovy 80s, my friend. Man, I didn't want to come back, honestly. I went and saw what I had to see in the future. We'll get into that, but man, going back in time to the 80s, a lot of stuff happened that I can't even share on this show, but what a time, man.
Yeah, I had to go back to simpler times as well. So I stopped 1981 is kind of where I wanted to go. I went to the future. Turns out United States of America. Nope. United States of North America. We took over Canada and Mexico. It's too complex for me. There's flying cars. There's so much going on. Had to go back to simpler times. So I'm stuck in 81. Unfortunately, my time juice ran out and I had to make it back to present day. But man, I had a blast. It was a great time.
Absolutely. These two had to pull me away from the powdered donuts, but we're back in full swing, and we have what you've been waiting for. We got to see the end of the 2023 season. Who cares about Super Bowl winner? Maybe in a future episode we'll tell you, but not this episode. This episode, we're helping you with your fantasy teams, and there is one position that matters overall, the most important, and that is who is the fantasy MVP. And Wyatt, you have the breakdown. Let them know who it was.
You know, in the future, it's, as I said, there's a lot going on. It's very complex. I honestly didn't like where I was. Maybe I was in a weird verge off the space-time continuum, but I did find out who the MVP was. And unfortunately, no, everyone was really high on Trevor Lawrence. It's not Trevor Lawrence, guys. The MVP is everyone we expected it to be. Patty Mahomes going back to back. Really no surprise here. He dominated the AFC West. The AFC West is ass, by the way. Holy hell. The 2023 season, remember when they were a powerhouse? Not this year. Chiefs ran through the AFC. Patty Mahomes racked up over 5,500 yards, threw under 10 picks. He walked away with it. There wasn't anyone close. So back-to-back, I believe Aaron Rodgers did it 2 years prior to that, but Patty Mahomes now back-to-back MVP.
Patty Mahomes MVP. Predictable, unfortunately, but I mean, it's all of this is completely real. So we can't make stuff up.
Hey, guess what, guys? Value plays don't work if they don't win. So
No.
a plus 700 on Patty Mahomes, you're going to thank me later because it's not value, it's a lock.
It is. It is. But another part of fantasy football is working the waiver wire. So Ethan, who is going to go undrafted that's going to get picked up that changes leagues?
Yeah, you are right. I do have the waiver wire ad of the year. However, I just want to mention two quick things about our time travels here. First of all, by going back into the 80s, I just want to let everyone know the Lions still sucked. So I apologize for every Lions fan born back in the 80s or earlier. They've had a long span of sucking. And in the future, the coolest thing that I saw in the future outside of the waiver wire ad, they had our 2023 copy of the fantasy guide hanging in the louver.
Oh,
So
I forgot about that. You're right. That was
yeah.
dope.
So get over to bettergreen.com right now. Get that fantasy guide. It's going to cost you $20 today. You can sell it here in the future for a lot more than that. So yeah, get over to bettergreen.com. Check out our 2023 fantasy guide. You will not be disappointed. And back to our award for the best waiver ad of the 2023 NFL fantasy football season. It is wide receiver Jaden Reed for the Green Bay Packers. I was pleasantly surprised. This is one of my fellow Spartan dogs here. Just like you guys, I didn't think he'd turn out to anything this year. Turns out he is a poor man's Tyreek Hill. He's getting a lot of comparisons to Tyreek. Speedster, breaks it open. Just a lot of ways that they used him this past season. Had just way more yards and touchdowns than anyone really saw him getting. Took over Romeo Dobbs' number 2 spot there. and just really elevated the Packers to a much better season than what anyone saw for the Green Bay Packers this year. And yeah, Jayden Reed, a lot of people, when he started going off, they're like, this is Christian Watson 2.0. He's going to have 4 good weeks and fall off. Don't pass him up. When he starts having that good week there, you pick him up because he is the waiver wire ad of 2023 fantasy football.
Yes, he is. He is. He's got that blazing speed so fast that he started the chant, slow pack slow, for the rest of the receivers.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. He's a little bit of a jokester, too.
Oh, yeah.
But you really want to know for when you're drafting still, you can get Jayden Reed. Like Ethan said, we're not going to tell you the exact week, but he does go off. Get him then. But the breakout player you want to draft early, you want to make sure you get on him, is J.K. Dobbins. That offensive line repeats. It's the best run blocking offensive line in the league again. He leads the league in rushing yards, over 1,300 rushing yards. The dude has an insane season. He even catches 40 passes this year. You want to get in on him. He finishes as a running back 1 every single week.
Wow.
And I know what you're saying, but J.K. Dobbins, the last time we saw him, his leg was in a 90-degree angle. I couldn't even straighten it as he was running down the field. Well, he's worked out the kinks, my friends.
He's back. In those last 3 or 4 games that you saw out of him, that's what we call the beginning. So now that you know who to get, you need to know who not to get. There's one guy that sinks you in your fantasy league every year. If you didn't win the fantasy championship, you either win it or you're in last place. I don't care if you got second. I don't care if you still get a little bit of a payout. You should just donate that. You know what you should do with that money? You should go get the fantasy guide. But for real, don't let this guy sink your league. Wyatt, who was the bust of the year?
So before I go, so the definition of bust, right? In my interpretation and the interpretation of 2023, you have to play a majority of the games and, you just don't perform. There is one player that you can call him a bust if you want. I'm not going to categorize him as a bust. You actually get 2 insights on this. Justin Fields, done for the year, week 5 against the Commanders, ACL, he's out. I'm not going to rule that a bust because he didn't have the chance. That was a freak accident, whatever. But yeah, quarterback 6, quarterback 7, no chance. Anyways, the real bust this year was Josh Allen. He also is the second front runner for the MVP. Yeah, you might be saying, well, Josh will never be a bust because he's Josh Allen. Not in 2023. The pressure of his disappointing 2022 campaign really brought him down. The fact that Diggs didn't want to be there was noticeable throughout every single game this year. Diggs was pouting. Allen, it was getting to his head. He wasn't really getting the ball in the end zone rushing. He just did not perform. And I love the guy, but man, he's not it. Bills are not it. Also, their division, talk about the AFC West going bad. The AFC, what is that, the East? Or AFC, yeah, AFC East, they are smoking in 2023. So Josh Allen's way out of his league there. Too much pressure got to his head, and unfortunately, he was not a buzz. And guess what? I remember when you go to the future in 2023, your washing machine, or past 2023, your washing machine doesn't beep every fucking 15 seconds. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. The thing won't shut the F up. But we're stuck in 2023 right now where they make it so it goes off every 45 seconds. But guess what? In the future, that's fixed. Josh Allen, bust.
Absolutely, man. Diggs, I hate to say it, a little reminiscent of AB this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Very much so. It was sad. Because I also like him a lot. It was just sad to watch.
It was.
Screws loose.
Very loose. Very loose. I'm glad our time machine didn't have screws that loose. We would not have made it back here.
Oh, no. Those screws all went into the Oceana or whatever that thing was called.
Oh! We're back,
We're
baby.
still talking about that in the future. That's still a practical joke.
Well, it's funny because they tried to get and the same thing happened.
Yeah.
Ethan, now we have to know a guy that you still want to draft, but you can get him late. Who was the value of this year?
Yeah, despite my wildest predictions, it was not Hunter Renfrow, although he was close. Uh, this guy was just a touch better in every receiving category. And Ben, I know you got that smile on your face. You can't wipe it off because it helped your Kansas City Chiefs to another impeccable season. The value play of this 2023 fantasy football season was Kadarius Toney, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Dude was just absolutely phenomenal. Debo Samuel on steroids. They used him all over the field. Um, week 1, he came right out, scored 3 touchdowns, had over 100 yards, and really just never looked back from there. The guy led the league in total touchdowns, led the league in receptions, and was second in receiving yards as well. Just a complete weapon. Mahomes, number 1 guy outside of Kelsey. But yeah, got him involved in a lot of different ways. Just love getting him the ball. And Kadarius Toney was a big difference maker, really filled in for the lack of receivers that many thought Kansas City would have heading into the season. Dude's legit. So you can take him late, but don't take him too late. Kadarius Toney is worth that first round value.
He absolutely is, man. You know what the best part about time travel is? The tattoos stick around. So the 2024 Chiefs champion tattoos I got on my ass is still there back this year. So I am super hyped. Love my Mahomes and my Tony.
I forgot to mention quick.
Yes.
That does bode well with the Patrick Mahomes MVP. Tony was a big part of that. Also, despite his 3 touchdowns, 100 yards in week 1, they still lost to the Lions. So they flipped it around from there, but great stats for him. Just couldn't get the job done on the field.
It happens. Happens to the best of us.
Happens.
At least he's divorced, so he is divorced. That finally happened.
Yeah. I cried quite a bit when we lost the Lions week 1, Ethan. You're right. That does absolutely happen. Absolutely. But I think I'm ready to talk about the most exciting one. Everybody wants to know, Rookie of the Year. I got it for you. Bryce Young does not win it because Adam Thielen's his number 1 guy, and he just doesn't have enough weapons. CJ Stroud doesn't come close. Anthony Richardson doesn't start the season. So none of the quarterbacks really have a shot. All the wide receivers, you guys see it. I don't need to tell you. You know they got buried on the depth chart. There's nobody that's really going to go out there and start. You can see it now. Yeah, it doesn't happen. Running back wise, this one I really barely even need to tell you guys because you already know who won it. It's Bijan Robinson. He stayed healthy. Everybody knows it. If you're looking at it right now, you know that if Bijan stays healthy, that he's going to win. He's going to be the best rookie of the year, and he does stay healthy. Gibbs is actually a close second. Dalton Kincaid, he's fine, but are we ever going to see a rookie tight end be the rookie of the year? Probably not. Probably not. So we got Bijan, and you hear that? That's the time machine calling us back again. It's beeping. It's ready to go. It's fully charged.
I don't think it's too happy that we're giving out all the future intel that, God damn it, dude. What have I done this shit all?
It's ready
pissed.
for us.
It wants to take me to 1993 to see if OJ actually did it. So that's where I'm off to next. Let me know where you want us to go next. What do you need to? We can go in the past. We can go in the future. Whatever you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We will not kill anyone, though. We will not kill baby Hitler. That's how I know that would save a lot of lives. I'm not a baby killer. So take that out of the comments.
Take it out. I don't know what to do, guys. I hope the time machine shuts itself up. Because I pressed all the buttons I normally press, and this thing is still dinging away. So
hey, we're still learning the time machine. It's all right, man.
Yeah.
The only constraints we have is we cannot go back to before they have electricity because this bitch needs to be plugged in.
That's true.
So no dinosaur times for these 3. Sorry about it. All right.
Very true.
Now you guys know what happens. So we're going to get back. We're going to change back into our regular clothes, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Peace, guys.
2023.
Groovy, man.
probably think that you are better now.